Hello and welcome back to Pints with Pals. My name's Mike, and joined with you today is Jeremy. Say hi, Jeremy.
Hello, Jeremy. Look at that.
Tonight we are doing another from the Highland Brewing Company. So we got a 12-pack with the 4 of them. This is called Gaelic Ale. As you can see by the title, it's technically an amber ale, but it's kind of like a cross between like an American ale and a red to get like an amber color. Hopefully this one doesn't explode like the last one.
Oh, here we go. Oh, it's exploding.
Mine did not.
Mine
Mine is slightly warm. Yeah. Definitely a yellow in color.
Yellow in color?
Yes. Amber, if even.
I get more browns and reds, but I'll go with yours.
Oh yeah. No. Well, I was looking through the little bit, but yeah, it's definitely a reddish color. Ooh, it's like crystal clear. I wonder if I'm cooling them off too much.
Mine's murky. Mine's got a lot of head, so I'm gonna give it a chance to calm down some over here.
So right off the first sniff of the head, I get almost nothing.
Yeah, what'd you think? So somebody did add notes, so yeah.
So this beer is supposedly 30 IBUs and 5.5 ABV. They said the grist or the mash or the mash bill or whatever, they use Munich, caramel 40, caramel 60, which I don't really understand if those impart different flavors rather than color. And then an extra special malt, which I'm not really sure what that would be. They also use Chinook, Willamette, and Cascade hops. So there's 3 different hops in here, but it's not
That was
hoppy.
from the website?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Is it similar to the recipe?
That's like 100%.
Sorry. I did not mean to steal your thunder, but I still don't get a ton of smell off of it. It's also not as bitter as I was thinking it was going to be.
No. So this is, I think, one of the beers that I like on tap.
Yeah,
I can get it. Yeah, I can get it at only a few restaurants around here have it, and it's so good. This is. So when I started drinking craft beers shortly after I moved down here, and I went back to college, so when I would finish up a semester, I would go build myself a 6-pack. So I drank Bud Light forever, figured I'd try something different, and this was one of the first local-ish beers. I don't think there's only like one other brewery when I first moved down here 20 years ago. So I tried it. I was like, wow, this is really, really good. I enjoyed this. And then I had it on tap, and I was like, oh, I really like this on tap. It's tasty. Tasty.
We joke in behind the scenes that nobody would make any of the stuff that we've suggested, but like I've gone back and made the blueberry. Well, I made the blueberry ale. You guys heard in the last episode or one of the last episodes. Didn't quite turn out as I planned. But this is something I feel like I would like to try and maybe not necessarily recreate, but get kind of close to it. Because it seems like it's like you said, if it's on tap, it's going to be good. Like the color. Like you can see me like through it almost perfectly.
No, that's crazy. I definitely have like some chill haze going on. Well, I also rinse off this cup though too. So I may have some water impurities, blah blah blah, like any crap. But no, I enjoy this beer. I think it's 5.5%. It's not super crushable, but I definitely enjoy a couple of these in a row when possible.
Yeah, it's the sweet. It's pretty sweet.
It's a little malty, yeah, for sure.
Right. And it doesn't really hit me in like with having all those hops. It doesn't really hit me as bitter. I'm sure it will be bitter to my wife because she just can't handle any IBUs. But like you don't smell the hops, and I feel like I associate bitterness with the smell of the hops, which is kind of like a grapefruity smell typically, like IPAs tend to smell like. So like this one, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like a brown ale, I think. Like a red and a brown ale combined, or an amber, I guess.
I do get a little bit of like a Scottish
Yeah.
flavor to it a little bit. Like not so much like kind of like a wee heavy, but not as strong, if that makes any sense, because wee heavy's kind of punchy
Right.
in the
This
throat
is
a
like
little bit
what
sometimes.
this is like what I imagine the beer tasting like if I would have used my mash a second time and made this beer.
Okay, yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could have. Yeah, most definitely.
Because like you could change the flavor dramatically with just the hops or whatever. So I could have probably done it. So this is their flagship beer. It's an exceptionally balanced malty sweetness. I don't know, delectably hopped. So it's Asheville's first beer. So this is Asheville. Is Highland Brewing their first brewery?
Yeah, sorry, 1994. Yeah, yep. So it's been around for quite a while. I can't math right now. It's been a long day.
Somebody do it in the comments. It's like 31 years.
It could have been. I graduated in 95, so this would be my 30th. Yeah, so that's right. So it would be 31. Yeah. See, if I would have gone up a year, then do the math, like figure it out.
Yeah, that's how they teach the new math.
Oh gosh, no, we won't get that topic. We'll start holding the podcast on new math. But no, I think it's good. I did a tour there. Within the last, let's say, 8 years, maybe 7 years, and I took Brandon with me. My cousin Amanda was down here, and my wife, Rhonda. Amanda don't drink beer, so me and Brandon, we split the pitcher. So you get a pitcher to split between you. And it was just me and Brandon. So yeah, it was so cool. He poured us 2 pitchers, and then we started the tour. So we're already nice and kind of
toasty,
liquored up. Well, I guess people would let back up. So they have a distillery attached to them, to the building. So we did the distillery first, then we drank the beer. So we were already good to go. And they give you this beer. Yeah. So you get Gaelic ale, and he gives it the whole story of the founder and stuff like that. And I think he was like a biologist. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've actually looked up the history. The guy that gave tour said it is a guy that you would have seen and wouldn't think that he drank beer. It's like a nerdy biologist kind of guy, blah, blah, blah. Because when you walk into the place, they don't have it on the cans anymore. They have this huge Scottish guy with bagpipes and like a kilt for Highland Brewery. So I thought, before the guy told me that, I thought it was a guy who may have been of Scottish, Irish descent, because this whole region was founded by the Irish and Scots, the 1600s, 1700s. Well, the place really isn't that big. Like when you walk in, you have like your bright tanks and your fermentation vessels and all this other kind of stuff, and then, the tour's over with. That's how fast it is. I think we went to a distillery about that big.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was the old bread factory. Whoops.
Yeah, but no, it was a cool tour. It was great. The vibe there is really, really chill and relaxed. But Asheville's one of those places that it's a chill town. Like everyone just whatever happens. It's just cool.
So I think for a rating on this one, I'm gonna give it like a 3.8. I would definitely buy it again. But it's not in the can, and maybe mine's warm. And it is a year old, almost to the day for us. This was bottled or filled on 4/15.
Yeah.
So I mean that's a long time ago for the listener or the watcher.
I'm going 4.5 myself. That's my rating. I really, really enjoy this beer.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. And you said that it's better. So what is your rating for it on tap?
I'd be close to a 5. I don't think there is such thing as a perfect beer. There's always gonna be something wrong, but it'd be a 4.8, 4.9 for sure.
Is it consistently the same every time you have it?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's cool.
So it's not like Oberon days or whatever. It wasn't that long ago, comparatively speaking. So they changed the recipe every year for some reason. I don't know why. This to me tastes the same every time I have it.
That's good. That's I think that's quality. I would be happy. So I've made my I made my Kolsch 3 times. and every single time it's tasted different. It's been a different ABV, and it's like all using the same stuff, just I boil it differently. Because the last time I boiled it with the lid on, then you kind of scared me with the DMXs or DMLs or somethings. DMS.
I think it's diacetyl, maybe? I can't remember now.
Yeah. So like you basically like, so what happens is you're trapping some of the like the basically vapor, the water vapor, and when it drips back down, it's kind of causing some like acidicness that would normally evaporate out. But it doesn't seem like it did anything, and it kind of kept me closer to my so I wasn't boiling off as much water. So I think that, well, the thing I did notice too is like it would start to boil, and then like it would boil up, and then everything would just get stuck to like the lid and then the sides. So like the like little bits and pieces of the hop matter or whatever would like basically get stuck all over my entire thing, and that was like a pain in the ass to clean. So that's why the next time I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna boil it like with the lid on it this time.
Yep.
So have you ever brewed anything like this?
No, I have a recipe for it, but I've never. Ironically, you listed the same recipe, except for the pounds and ounces of it. But like every single bit of it, I think it was exactly the same, right? So I'll just read like the ingredients. So I have like 6 pounds of 2-row, 3 pounds of Munich malt, 1 pound of crystal malt, half a pound of 60 crystal 60, which basically is mainly for color, but you are going to get like different characteristics of like toastiness, biscuit, crackery, whatever, stuff like that. Special B, I think if I remember correctly, I think Special B is a little darker of a grain overall. And they're going to use like a half an ounce of Chinook for 60 minutes. That would be your main bittering. Going to use 3/4 of an ounce of Willamette and 3/4 ounce of Cascade for the last 5 minutes. And then I went back to just a dry yeast because I don't think I've talked about dry yeast in a while now. I just use S05. I think that'd be totally fine for this style because it's an ale. It's a decent ale yeast. You could probably use the US 04, I think is the other one. But I think that one's, you can make it a little more maltier than you may want.
Which one is the English style?
04, I believe. Yeah,
so like because it's Gaelic, so I'm like, does that lend itself to being some sort of like overseas thing? Because 05 is the American ale yeast.
Typically, yeah, yep. Or you can use for stouts and stuff like that. I think I went with 05 just to make it not as malty as this, right? And so even your mash, temperature mash, can dictate how much maltiness is left behind. So if you think mash, I think it's higher the mash temp, the more malty it's be, and the more drier it could be as well too. Besides adding sugar to it to dry it up. So like if you mash, they do 154 on this, it'll probably be a little more maltier than say do 149. So I think 149 is like the lowest you should go for conversion. Or sugar conversion, or starch conversion, whatever it's called. Drawing a blank tonight, guys. I apologize.
No, I mean, we never claim to be professionals, so
no.
I do recommend like going to watch some of them. I mean, some of the stuff that I've been watching are like because I like Clawhammer. I like their stuff. I feel like they're trying to really innovate the space, and they feel like a really small company. I watch a lot of like there's one guy that's doing stuff with mead, and he's working with those guys from Clawhammer, and they're making beers with his mead, and like they are what I would consider semi-professional, where they still just do stupid stuff, and they're learning from every single experience they have, and they're definitely not pro brewers. They never claim to be, and they're like, that's the kind of joy about brewing your own beer, I think, at least from what I found, is that like basically no two beers are the same, and you'll find that you like, or you do something different either on accident or on purpose, that's changing your beer in a way that could be positive or negative, and you really just need to kind of keep track of that. Is what I'm learning, because I've made really good beers on accident and really bad beers on purpose.
I think it's those goes. So ironically, Clawhammer is not too far away from Gaelic Ale. Also Clawhammer buys from the for Highland Brewing. And we go. And I buy my grain from their same place they buy grain. It's Asheville Home Brewing or something like that. I don't buy there all the time. Again, it's like a 45-minute drive, so I have to make a reason to drive that far to get it. But
we'll have to have him guest
small, so
we'll have him guest the podcast.
That'd be cool. I would love to chit chat with them. You know, I feel like I know a lot of their story, but it'd be really interesting to talk to Kyle or Emmett. Emmett's the guy with the big bushy beard. Kyle's the more buff guy. Do you know anything about them besides just watching a couple of their videos? You know how Kyle actually started off making stills and showing videos on how to make a still. So
that's not legal.
Make stills is fine.
Oh yeah.
You make stills all day long. You just can't make the.
You can use them.
Yeah. You can distill. What is it? Essential oils and blah blah all that kind of stuff. You just can't do liquor. But no, it'd be fun. I like to watch. Since we're kind of plugging some people, I like watching the Brew Show. Granted, he hasn't put out much stuff here in a little while, which is understandable. But when I first got into it, he was hitting it hard and heavy. CH was another guy that used to watch. I think it's a homebrew channel. I think is the name of what his was called. The Homebrew Challenge by Martin Keene. It was great. He did like 99 beers in 98 weeks. That was awesome. And then the Apartment Homebrewer. He gets super technical.
Is he the bald guy?
No, he's just really tall. He's ex-military. I don't know if you ever watched him at all. The bald one. Big husky kind of guy.
No, he's like a really skinny guy. He was. I don't know if he was from. I think he's from Brewlosophy. So their channel is the guy that did the homebrew challenge. He went to host the Brewlosophy channel. He interviews some guys, and he's like this real nerdy, like the cheapest. He's a cheapskate brewer or whatever.
Yeah. He got some really cool ideas. I just. Yeah,
he's using water and sugar and yeast and making his own, basically purge CO2. And I'm like, that's brilliant. I actually have done that already. I used the yeast that was left over from a cider and then put some sugar and water in it, shook it all up and then put it on the end. And then I had cleaned out all my kegs, but I didn't want to purge them. So I just daisy chained them all together with a bunch of these little guys and pressure tubes between them. And then at the end, I had a 15 PSI spunding valve that was just letting it all out at the end. So it worked out really well.
And I think a good book, if those who like to read, is How to Brew Beer by John Palmer.
That guy, so he is so smart. And they go through a lot of it on the Brewlosophy. They'll have him on all the time. He's got a goatee and he's got glasses. I like that
guy. Bird.
He goes so far into the weeds. He's the alpha amylase and the blah blah blah. So if you want to really nerd out, I think that's his book. His book that Jeremy's talking about is just basically the basics, but he knows the science behind it. And he really goes into depth on that stuff. So if you really want to kind of learn some stuff, you can watch that stuff. Brewlosophy has been fun for me. They do a lot of experiments that kind of come out inconclusive, which I think is good. It's okay, what if I sparge? What if I don't sparge? Can you tell the difference? Nope. What if I brew under pressure and brew in a cooler? Can you tell the difference? Nope. So it's they've done a lot of stuff between I think it was a 30-minute boil all the way up to a 120-minute boil or something, or no, not boil.
I think it was 30, 45, 60.
Mash. Yeah, they did the same thing with mash. So it's they did a lot of weird things and found out there was very little difference in the final gravity and stuff like that. And I was just that seems kind of interesting, but I'll still just stick with the standard hour and be good with that.
I've bounced around myself, depending. If I the honey blueberry one, I do half hours now on those. I don't think it's no difference. So yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
You'll almost get an entire hour back. Almost.
Almost. And my math is mathing.
All right. On that note, don't forget to have a pint with your pals.
Yeah, make sure you, actually, please drink responsibly. Make sure like, comment, subscribe, join the Discord, join us on X. It's Pints with Pals. I got that name. I was surprised I actually got that one. So we're trying to diverse a little bit out there. So until next time.
Cheers.
Cheers.